sides. I think there is definitely a cultural difference, though we are basing it off of the Korean
Right.
aspect of things. So what if one day you woke up, you're a city kid, born and raised in the city, the comforts of the city, like getting a chance to get around without a car, delivery at your fingertips and having a lot more processed food at your fingertips. But then all of a sudden having to go down to the countryside and live with your grandma. It's like, what if?
Now, this actually happened to me, so I am very well versed in what to say.
Okay. So was it your Korean grandparents or your American grandparents?
No, so, I mean, if you guys don't know, I grew up in a military family, so I moved around a lot. And at one point, my dad actually had to go to, like, an officer's training school, and there was no dependents allowed or whatever. So I ended up moving with my brother to my grandparents for, like, a year. And they live in the middle of nowhere in Arizona. Like, there's
so in Arizona. Okay.
yeah, like, literally, there's nothing around. The town has, like, a couple hundred people living there.
Lord.
And I will say this, it was a really nice experience.
Okay.
Like, I really enjoyed it. I mean, especially as a kid, because when you're a kid, you don't care if you live in the city or where you live. You know what I mean?
Right.
But, you get to go outside. It's, like, so safe. And, I basically spent the whole time outside.
Right.
Catching snakes and, like, stuff like that.
Oh.
And it's stuff you can't really do in the city. And it's a whole different experience living in the country. Like, I'm not talking about, like, oh, you live in, like, a small suburb of a city. No, I mean, like, the country. There's, like,
The
nothing.
country.
There's no Walmart. There's one convenience store in the whole town. Like, that kind of thing.
Like there's one gas station like 10 miles out.
Yeah, and, like, if you wanted to go rent a movie, you had to drive all the way to Phoenix. It was, like, 2 hours away. Something like that. So it was a very wholesome experience.
Okay. Priscilla, what about you?
Yeah, I think for me is kind of similar too. I was born in LA and I moved to Korea and I lived here for 5 years.
Okay.
And I moved back to the States in Maryland, and it was countryside of Maryland.
Well, compared to Seoul.
But
and-
we did have a Walmart though.
Oh,
So
did
when you
you?
mentioned Walmart, I was like, oh, I guess I didn't have it that bad.
Oh,
But like you said, it was very wholesome because we were so like used to the city life, just going to Maryland and seeing all the greenery. It was just like,
Right.
it's so beautiful. The fresh air, like put the windows down, and it was just so nice. But eventually you do get kind of bored of it because there's nowhere to go. So it's like once you go to school, you come right back. It's like repeat, go to school, come back. There's nothing you can really do. So
how old were you at that time?
when I moved to Maryland,
Yeah.
I was 10.
Oh, okay. So you were, like, kind of similar to what my age was.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
But also, I mean, I was a very outdoorsy kid. Were you did you consider yourself like a very outdoorsy girl? You know what I mean?
I wouldn't say so.
You don't think
I
so?
wouldn't say so. I was a very like,
Paint your nails, play with Barbies, that kind of thing.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean,
I think it forced me to be outside though, because there was nothing
Yeah.
really much you can do. So I remember I took tennis lessons with like my little community that we had,
Sounds
and
bougie.
it kind of
tennis lessons. I was
No,
playing with
I
playing
did.
with
I
sticks.
know. I did tennis when I was like in fifth, like in elementary,
Oh, really?
junior high. It was cheaper than anything else. My
I don't-
mom.
Really?
yeah. I don't think it's like the tennis we have in Korea right now, where it's like you get that whole fit. But
Yeah, no,
Oh,
there-
it was just
okay.
like
it was it was a country club, but the kids were cheaper. In like the summer programs were way cheaper. Yeah,
Yeah.
the rackets and stuff were a little expensive, but I'm not going head to toe in like tennis wear when I go. I'm in a t-shirt that's my uncle's, and then
Yeah.
like shorts that probably are my cousins. So it's not as bougie as, well, at least my neighborhood wasn't, even though I was coming from like a pretty high-end suburban neighborhood.
I mean, tennis. I never wore a shirt, and I just played with sticks and rocks. Like, that's what my thing. You know what I mean? Like, you guys were playing tennis.
Well, so this is the thing. A lot of our listeners, like Aaron is saying it too, a lot of our listeners, Hannah as well, they enjoy the countryside way more than the city life. Now, I think that for me too, I was raised in this suburban setting. My Korean side grandparents came to live with us. They immigrated to the States, and I lived with them. It really did help me though when I did come to Korea, because I was already accustomed to some really like quote unquote ghetto like 시골 food. Because my grandma was the one that was mainly doing the cooking in the house. Because my aunt was working and so was my mom. So my grandma was the one that was taking care of the meals. And so for me, I was getting raised on like 젓갈, like, salted seafood. And then like coming from, families that we don't want to waste, if kimchi was not, stored correctly, which we didn't have kimchi refrigerators back then. So keeping kimchi in like containers just in the refrigerator caused like the top layer to get moldy and really mushy and stuff like that. Do you think the Korean grandmas throw that stuff away? No. They cut off the molding parts and then they wash the kimchi and then they re-saute it with like other stuff and it's really good though.
Really?
So I grew up on a lot of that kind of stuff. So when I got to Korea, I was actually more sophisticated palate wise than my peers.
Like even like Korean people?
Like Korean people. So like if we were talking about like sundaekguk or like, 국밥 or like, some of the stuff that like most girls like at that age, like in teenagers, like, oh, ew.
Ew, liver?
Ew, like what are you eating? Oh my God. Like I was like, that's good.
Sengan, when you're eating sengan, like raw liver back then?
I still don't really like it.
Do you eat sonji?
Yes, I do.
I love
sonji.
sonji.
What's hunji?
It's like
pee.
Oh,
like
blood.
you meant like pee. I was like,
it's like a blood
like
clot,
blood.
right?
Okay.
Blood. It is
Oh.
blood. It's
I
blood
don't like
clots.
that.
선지해장국. I
I
love
love
선지해장국.
Oh, it's like chewing on a roll of quarters. I just can't. It's nasty.
You don't taste the copper.
It's good for you.
The flavor, I know it's good for. It's like blood pudding, right? Like black pudding.
no.
I know what it is. It's like a soup.
Oh, it's a
you put it in the
soup.
soup.
Yeah.
I don't like
It's like
that.
chunks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's a little shady to me. I mean, I've had it, but
I love liver, just not. I love like different types of organ meat, but kan. In Korea, we do eat it raw if the restaurant is getting their meat fresh. I just don't like the consistency. I've never really been into like a jello like consistency of a girl. So it's not about the taste or like it's raw. I don't like the consistency.
I don't like it raw either. I like it cooked. Like when they give you sundae, they give it like
Kan.
the.
I love kan.
Like when it's like
I
cooked.
love,
yeah.
I love the sundaegan.
Yeah, me
It's
too.
really good.
I don't eat the lungs though. I don't eat that. I don't like that.
Papa?
Yeah,
I like it. Okay.
It's like eating a. It's like eating like an uninflated
Like a
balloon.
rubber.
Yeah.
Oh, it is a little chewier. It is a little chewier. I do have to admit. So yeah, for me, I don't think I would love this as well. I am more of an outdoorsy girl too. In the suburbs when I was growing up, I've reminisced about this on the show a lot. So for those of you who are listeners who have been with me for a few years, I'm sorry I keep repeating this, but when I was living with my aunt and my grandparents and everybody, she lived in a one-story house that had a pretty big backyard that had 6 fruit trees.
Oh.
And there was plums. There was an apple tree that was something was funky about it, so we never really ate off of the apple tree. But we had a mulberry tree, we had an apricot tree, and we had like a lot of different trees in the backyard. And my grandma, being the typical Korean grandma, she would be having like genji, perilla leaves, and cucumbers and like peppers and stuff like that growing on the side. I was always outside. I was always in the garden. I was always getting dirty. I was always getting yelled at from my mom because I had like grass stains. I wasn't even like running around. I was just like rolling around like laying on my back in the so I really enjoyed it, so I wouldn't mind either. I think I would really enjoy going to the countryside. Pinyim and I fantasize about this all the time, like getting a house in the countryside in Korea.
I
And
want to be
like
in the mountains though, not like in a farm area. You know what I mean?
oh
Like
okay,
because
you're a
even
mountains person.
Yeah, like my mom even she wants to buy like they sell like these things called like what do you call it, a mini house? It's like really tiny, but like enough for like one person, maybe for one person to visit also.
Right.
But you can buy them really cheap and you can just like plop it
like
on
it's a
something.
container that
Yeah.
you can just like have set up.
That sounds nice, I guess. I like the countryside.
I feel like a lot of Koreans do romanticize moving to the countryside, like after they're like a little established. Because the model Han Hye-jin,
Oh yeah.
she built a house in the countryside, so she goes back and forth.
맞아.
And I feel like so many people.
Younghae's house is in Yeongpyeong too.
Yeah.
Like there's a whole like celebrity town of celebrities that like purchased around the same time and built like remote kind of suburban slash like countryside type houses.
I like Yangpyeong. That's such a nice place to go.
It's not that far from Seoul. It's
it's
only
close,
like a few
yeah.
towns over from my area
Yeah.
right now.
You can get there in an hour and some change.
Traffic will
At 3 a.m. you can get there in an hour.
traffic will differ, but I mean, it is worth the commute. If that's why I was thinking of even going to Yangpyeong too. But I think that, and I've said this on the show before, but I definitely don't think I would be able to work, like, because I know what I want to achieve. Like, I really want to have a homestead. Like, I want to have like chickens, and I want to have like
a whole ranch.
not a whole ranch, because I don't think I'll be able to like actually take care of like the cows and everything. But like at least have chickens and have like a garden and just kind of be there, like even vlog about it. I don't know, but like I see myself doing that more, and I don't think I would be able to do it if I had a job.
No, yeah, because like especially if you got animals, like my grandpa and my grandma, they had goats, and when you're a little kid and you're hanging out with goats all day, like it's actually really kind of fun hanging out with animals that's not a dog or a cat.
Right. So I don't think I would mind, but I have seen a lot of Korean dramas. The most recent one that I saw that kind of came together when I was looking at the script for today. Good luck, YouTube, by the way, for today's script. But Takani our writer really went the extra mile to put them in the hot spot today for our script. But there was, I think it was Our Blues, 우리들의 Blues. There was a scene where I think, so there's this small kid who is kind of dropped off at one of our like the elders' houses, and they have to be taken care of for a few days. But this is on Jeju, so a lot of people that in Korea and probably in the States too, if you live in an area where there's a lot more ocean, they're going to be eating a lot more seafood than anything else.
Right.
Whereas if you live in Seoul or in the city, chicken, pizza, pork cutlet, a lot of these more processed meat-based foods are way more convenient to enjoy. But you go down and you live with your Korean grandma, they're going to be giving you more
청국장.
Yeah, like 청국장 and like some more hearty, more
That's so true.
like foods that are a little like there's going to be a lot more in season like vegetables like panchan on the table and stuff like that. So I could see the difference. Like I can tell from the Korean standpoint of why this would be a culture shock for kids who grow up in Korea, like city kids in Korea. If they were to go to the countryside all of a sudden and have to live with their grandparents for a few days, depending on where they're going, I feel that this would be like a culture shock, even though they're in Korea.
Yeah, that's so true.
Because honestly, like we all live in Seoul, right? But when I go back to my parents' house in Colorado, they live in like a place called the Black Forest, and it's very like it's very remote. And there really isn't a lot to do. So it's like I'm having that culture shock every time I go over there because like I'm so bored. So I'm no longer a kid who just goes and runs around by myself outside. Like I can't.
Like even if you go for like a walk around the neighborhood, like there's only so much you can walk.
I sit down, like, okay, but now what? And then I drink because like keep yourself occupied. I guess.
Yeah, I recently went to Daegu because that's where my grandmother lives, and my mom recently came to visit from the U.S. So she was staying there for like 2 months. So even last week I was there for a week and 2 days, and I was just like,
Daegu's a big
I miss
city.
Seoul. Even though Daegu is considered a big city compared to Seoul, it's just like so much quieter.
Yeah.
It's chill. Everything goes at a slower pace, even though it's a city. So yeah, even in Korea, compared to Seoul, but I feel that it's like all major cities, like LA, downtown LA,
For sure.
way more fast paced than where I'm from. Like New York, like the middle of New York is gonna be way more hectic than like the Jersey and like the Boston and surrounding areas. All right, well, this skit today is going to be a challenge for Priscilla. Joel as well, but I think Priscilla even more so.
I'm doing my best.
I mean, I know you're gonna nail it, but I kind of feel bad that you had to be. So we're gonna be jumping into our roles for today. Excited for the skit. You guys ready?
Oh,
Yes.
always.
All right, music cue.
Let's go.
Aiko, yeah. Oh, stop crying, my young child. Oh, please just eat up.
No! I don't want to. Mom never made me eat stuff like this, and I'm not a child. I'm 7 years old.
Oh, of course, my mistake. Oh, I'll buy you something to eat later in town. What would you like me to buy you?
Really? You promised to buy me anything? I want fried chicken and a burger and a pizza and a large soda and snacks. Dang. As much as I can carry.
아이고, okay. Oh, wow, that's a lot of food. Some I don't even think will sell in town. Okay, is that what you eat in Seoul?
Of course. Come on. Why don't you know these things? You're no fun. I'm gonna go play.
Oh, it's going to be a tough day today if I don't know what to buy him.
Hello. What are you doing here alone? Where's your grandson?
Oh, hello, sweetie. Did you eat anything yet?
네. All I had was kimchi and rice. Give me a little water for my rice and I'll eat a whole pot. Cucumbers and a little gochujang is perfect too.
Oh, aren't you an angel? If only my grandson would be like you. I don't even know where he's run off to. Oh, he hasn't eaten a bite of his breakfast.
Is he being a baby? Goodness, I hate picky eaters.
Yeah. Who are you calling a baby? I'm 7, okay? And I'm bigger than you.
If you are so big, then you would eat what you were given. How disrespectful.
No. Beep. Are you done? I'm gonna get angry.
See? Only babies will get mad. Someone needs some more milk. How about this? If you eat all your breakfast, I won't call you a baby.
Just you watch. I'm gonna finish everything my grandma made me. Grandma, I'm hungry.
Oh, okay, sweetheart. I'll just reheat your soup. Would you like a fried egg?
Make it 2, please.
멈춘 시간 속 잠든 너를 찾아가 아무리 막아도 결국 너의 곁인 걸 결국엔 여행을 끝내 이젠 돌아가 너라는 집으로 지금 다시 way back home 아무리 힘껏 닫아도 다시 열린 서랍 같아 하늘로 높이 날린 널 자꾸 내게 되돌아와 힘들게 삼킨 이별도 다 그대로인 걸 수없이 떠는 길 위에서 난 너를 발견하고 비우려 했던 마음은 또 이렇게 너로 차올라 발걸음의 끝에 늘 네가 부비줘 그만 멈춘 시간 속 잠든 너를 찾아가 아무리 막아도 결국 너의 곁인 걸 결국엔 여행을 끝내 이젠 돌아가 너라는 집으로 지금 다시 way back home 조용히 잠든 방을 열어 기억을 꺼내들어 부서진 시간 위에서 선명히 너는 떠올라 길 잃은 맘속에 널 가둔 채 살아 그만 멈춘 시간 속 잠든 너를 찾아가 아무리 막아도 결국 너의 곁인 걸 결국엔 여행을 끝내 이젠 돌아가 너라는 집으로 지금 다시 way back home 세상을 뒤집어 찾으려 해 오직 너로 완결된 이야기를 모든 걸 잃어도 난 너와 나면 돼 빛이 다 꺼진 여기 나를 안아줘 않았던
Hola a todos, ¿cómo están? Estamos escuchando Arirang Radio desde Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Where are you listening from? Let us know. Leave it at arirangradio.com.
That was Sean with his viral track Way Back Home. Joel,
Yeah,
you feel at home in the countryside.
I do.
Take
you know,
me home.
country road. I belong. But anyway, this is not the singing hour. That's tomorrow. But what do you call it? Yeah, because like something about this song, like, listen, I'm not that kind of person, but like it makes 마음 너무 따뜻해져. Like I don't know why. Like I love this song, and I was actually when the writer asked me like, oh, can we like what's your song request for tomorrow? Of course, I was gonna put out a song that was like 50 years old, and then they said no. But they're always getting on my case for that. Like, can you pick a song that's recent? So I was like,
Our
okay.
show unintentionally is supposed to be a 최신가요,
Clearly.
a trendy song. So I mean, we like big like the 소녀시대 동방신기 era is considered like still old, but like we'll be okay
Acceptable.
with it. But like if we go into like HOT and like my era, then we're Piggy starts eyeing me. She's like, that's reserved for the weekend.
I do you better because like I requested songs that are from like the 70s, and they're like, no.
That's why Piggy is like, no.
PD님's like just 그냥 감상하기만 하고 여기서 틀지 말라.
She's like, enjoy it on your own time, Joel.
But yeah, I love this song. It's really good.
So our topic for today is if all of a sudden you wake up, you're a kid again, and you're forced to move with your grandparents, not your parents and everybody, just your grandparents, in the countryside, would you be able to do it? Now, a lot of our listeners are flabbergasted by the fact that a 7-year-old knows how to cuss, but also that they have such an attitude problem. And I was actually telling Joel and Priscilla during the song break that I thought this as well, but I've been seeing some videos and like stuff about kids these days. And like there's a huge shopping mall near my house that I go to every once in a while. And I try to go on days that there's not a lot of families, but still certain times there's going to be a lot of moms with a certain age group. Number one, kids as young as second and third graders are cussing thanks to the internet. Because like
God.
of live streams, like game live streams and stuff like that. Yeah, Twitch and YouTube and like the gaming
my goodness.
platforms there. A lot of the Korean phone games, which are super popular in Korea, are RPG, which are also like chatting and doing like and doing clans and stuff like that. So they pick it up from there, and their parents, I think, as well. You know how kids are really good at picking up what their parents do. And then on top of that, I've noticed that what has been abused quite often as gentle parenting has become really a big problem in Korea. About I go to restaurants and I will see the parents just give up. I've seen it so many times of parents that have young children. If they start fussing, it's not like don't, it's fine here. And they just throw them their tablet or food or something to keep them occupied, which I understand because, you know, they're probably both working parents. They both have jobs. They just want to have a nice quiet meal outdoors. But if their kids are fussing, you know, like they too want a mental break from it. But I have seen so many times where the parents will choose not to discipline and just fix the problem.
It's just
getting
like
so
put the
heated.
fire out.
Right. They would rather avoid the situation to not cause a scene.
Well, look, you have kids, you got responsibilities, so
But surprisingly enough, I butted heads with my mom and my aunt
Okay.
and my grandmother with my cousin.
what do you mean?
So years ago, my cousin in question was born in 96.
Okay.
So he's older now. But at the time, he was like 8.
Okay.
And I had been living a majority of my life in Korea. So I hadn't seen him in a long time. I saw him being born. I wasn't really present in his life. So we're cousins by relation, but he doesn't know me that well. I don't know him that well. We were at a restaurant. It was one of my favorite fall restaurants. And he was playing his Game Boy at the time, I think it was. Or it was like the first ones of the Switch, like the first few models of the Switch, or either, I don't remember. It was one of those handheld games. I'm a gamer. I love games. I understand if you need to finish a round, I get it. Like if you need to play until you die, or if like it's really hard to pause, I get it. So it was like you can play until the food comes. And he was like, okay. Nobody said anything. Food comes out. He's still playing. And as gamers, you know when a round has ended. You know when you die. The music changes when you die.
Right.
I heard him die. And I heard the game go back up again. It was reloading.
Checkpoint.
Right. I heard the ding, checkpoint. And he had the audacity. The food was out. Grandma was already eating. Our elder was already eating at the table. My aunt was fixing his spoon to feed him. And I was like, put the game down. Everybody at the table, all the adults were just like, what are you doing? I'm just like, Harmony is eating. My grandma's eating. Put the game down.
I know you've gotten so Korean.
This was what? Like 10, 12 years ago. Like this was like 20 something Isak doing that. Yeah, Korea did that to me. But but yeah, I was just so annoyed that the adults, and my mom was strict with me. And I was just like, what are you guys doing? Why are you not?
Wait, why were they being so lenient?
I don't know.
Were they like that Americanized at that point?
I don't think so, because I don't know. Maybe it's because I spent so much time with my grandparents when I was younger. My grandpa hit me with a spoon when I wasn't doing correct things at the dinner table. And then and I was still living in the States at that time. And I was like, what? And I had my aunt and my mom was just like, on the entire way home, they were like grumbling and like whispering at me like, we 그랬어? And why? I'm just like, why were you guys like that?
Oh, I heard it's the thing though, because I have cousins who are like 10 years older than me. So it's just me and my brother, and then my cousins are all like above 10 years older. They had it harder. So they had the strict grandparents, strict parenting, and then it's just me and my brother who had it so easy, quote unquote, from them. I think that's a thing.
I think that is a thing then.
Well, you know what though? I'm glad, because I had a very not strict to the point where it was like painful or anything, but like I had a very strict in terms of like disciplined childhood. You know what I mean? So I'm rather grateful for it, honestly. Like because like some people that I've seen nowadays, and this is no shade to anybody, but like some people that I know, like younger people than me, like they're so undisciplined. Like they're kind of like, it's my way or the highway. They're unreasonable a lot of the time. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know. Like I got in trouble for saying the word CRAP, right? I couldn't even say that, so like, I don't know. I rather appreciate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, for me too. We can go on and on about this, honestly, about like soft parenting or whatnot is this these days, but yeah.
The idol thing, I think, really added to it also, though, like in terms of being disciplined. You know what I mean?
Idol?
Like when I was an idol, like for example, like you know how you said you got mad at your cousin? Like if it was me in America, I probably wouldn't have said anything.
Probably.
But then I was like,
as an idol and like the trainee system, it does definitely change you because it's kind of their way or the highway.
Yeah.
And
You know what I mean?
dug your own grave to be in that situation. So
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate it. But what can I say?
yeah. Okay. So we're talking about if we did that. So I'm intrigued to see what kind of surveys are present. So who's gonna go first? Who wants to go first today?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Okay.
So the first survey we have is, how do we feel about our family?
Okay.
Okay.
It's a very broad question, and the biggest response we got was 30%. I can give them everything, and they are the reason why I live. Whoa.
Listen,
Okay.
y'all, I love my family. Hear me out.
Okay. The next one we have is 26.6%. It's, I'm bad at expressing, but I always have a deep-rooted love. I think this is like the majority, where we
Okay.
don't express our love, but then the love is always there.
Okay.
Next is 13.6%. Even though we have differences, we still work it out, and we just continue to live.
Okay.
Okay.
Reasonable.
The next one is 4.6%. It says, we're closer than strangers, but distant than friends.
Okay, no, that's not me.
Next is 2.4%. Is, I feel pressure, so the relationship feels like a burden with my family.
This is getting
So
depressing.
it's like your family kind of feels like a burden.
Okay.
Oh.
So I feel like families who are like super strict, that's how you kind of feel like that, right?
I mean, why are you looking at me?
I don't know. The next is at 3.6%, and the once in a while visits are what makes it the best.
Oh.
What was the first half of that?
So the like frequent visits.
Okay.
So not like
자주
seeing
안
them
보는 게
every
좋다.
week,
Oh, okay.
but
okay,
like
okay, okay.
it's more 에뜻해.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
When you
자주
see them
안
every
봐야.
once in a while.
자주 안 봐야
Oh,
좋다.
okay.
Kind of do agree with that. Especially for like the distant families. Yes. Next we have 7.3%. Their little quiet support gives me strength.
Okay.
So it's like not super encouraging, but you just know that they're there for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then last is I don't really have a good relationship. It's rather negative, and I want to be fully independent without the family.
Edgy. I'm at the thing, you know, I call my parents like every week at least once. If I
Okay.
can. And they live in the States. I can't see them that often, but
I feel that out of all of the parents that I've heard of, I feel that you have the most healthy relationship
Oh, I love
out
my
of the
parents,
people around me.
oh.
In my friend pool,
really?
myself included.
Even when I was growing up, I never really butted head with my parents. Like even at, like, going through puberty, you know, you get all edgy and like rebellious and stuff. Like I had that a little bit, but not like to the point where I was fighting with my parents or anything like that. Like I've always, and even now as I've gotten older, have a very, like you said, a very healthy, you know what I mean? Like
I feel that, and I see a few of my a few of my friends that have healthy relationships with their parents. Very envious.
Oh, really?
Because my dad's side of the family was always kind of off in their own little world a little too much. And they only kind of used the family word around when they needed something, my dad included. Whereas my mom's side of the family, everything was just pushed under the rug. If there's anything that's wrong with the family, push it under the rug.
It doesn't exist.
They don't deal with it.
What do you mean something's wrong
Yeah.
with
What do you feel? Somebody got divorced? Shh, don't talk about it. Somebody's child is not feeling too good. Shh, don't talk about it. Like any type of gossip that was so. And I've never lived in the South, and I've never been to the South of the U.S. But I feel that whenever I see like movies and people who are from the South, dang, my Korean family is very Southern,
In what ways do you think?
conservative.
Oh,
And the
conservative.
conservative matter was like family first, above all. The family name is the most important. Image is everything. Yeah. So I feel that for me, I'm very supportive of chosen families.
No, I'm with that too, though.
And I feel that these days, chosen families are way more in popular. I wish that we had more families like Joel's in general. And your relationship with your mom is amazing. I always see your videos.
Super close.
Yeah, I love watching your videos.
Thank you. It was just me and my brother growing up, so we're like super close.
Do you ever like butt heads with your mom? Like ever?
I mean, we do, but I guess like going back, it's kind of like we kind of know that it's all out of love. So there's no like anything like deep down that we have to like dig up. So
I'm out. The only time I ever butt heads with my mom, and it's not even in like a yelling kind of way, is, you know, she is obviously an older Korean lady at this point, right? And she is very opinionated about certain things, politics included, which get wild sometimes.
Yeah, that kind of stuff we don't.
Yeah, I try not to talk about it.
That's forbidden. All right, so it looks like the song request for today for Priscilla is Kim Jong-kook.
Woo!
사랑스러워. This is having another moment.
I haven't heard this song in a while.
It's having a moment.
this song is trending too.
Yeah, it's having a moment
Why?
right now. So all of a sudden, there's been this like dance challenge that has been made, and it's like going viral.
Oh,
again,
really?
even though this song was released like 20 years ago.
Priscilla's gonna do it. She said. She told me. Now you have to do it.
I didn't say anything, Priscilla. Okay, so we've got 사랑스러워 Love Boy by Kim Jong-kook. I'll see you guys back after this and more of the show.
머리부터 발끝까지 다 사랑스러워 네가 나의 여자라는 게 자랑스러워 기다림이 즐겁고 이제 공기마저 달콤해 이렇게 너를 사랑해
You want to message me? Go ARIRANG.
ArirangRadio.com.
Today we are talking about pretty much the same topic, but on different levels. So the main what if is if you woke up one day, you're a kid again, and you have to live with your grandparents in the countryside, you know, like what would you do? Would you like it? Would you not? All three of us would love to do it. I kind of wish that both sides of the family were a little bit more like out in the middle of nowhere farm type life. I think I would have enjoyed that a lot more if
Get
I
the
was
city
younger.
and the country.
Yeah, but I lived mostly in this a suburban area, but I mean, still, you never say never.
And
like,
you know, you would think it's not true, but Isaac, even though you now live in Seoul and you like the countryside and all that stuff, you are probably, when you talk sometimes, you get that Valley Girl accent coming out. Like I don't even think you realize it, but sometimes
It happens.
I'm just like listening, and it's like the most valleyest girl ever. And I'm like,
oh my god, like
Yeah,
what
like-
are you talking about? Like,
I don't know anybody like that.
annoying. Like, I used to talk like this when I first moved
Really?
here. Yeah.
oh, you sounded obnoxious.
Like, oh my god, what do you mean, Joel? like,
God.
it's so annoying. Like, you're
Oh.
such a loser. Like, oh my god, it's so annoying.
Oh my god.
Joel, we really don't have a lot of time today. Is there anything that you wanted to put in before we say goodbye?
Well, I was gonna put in, the best games that you used to play when you were little, but the first choice was make banchan in a treehouse, so that one ain't right. No, seriously, that was in there. and
When I was in school,
Uh-huh.
like we had a field in the States, like at my school, and all of us girls, we would sit there and we would be in the grass and we would make like salads and pizzas.
Really?
And of course, it's just like with like leaves and like clovers and stuff like that. But like, yeah, we would like collect twigs and we would like, I did that. But it was like, I did that.
I've never heard of that before. I
haven't
Is that
either.
more of a girl thing? Because like I
did it.
I when I first read it, I was like, I don't even know what that means. So I thought they were making real banchan in a treehouse. I was
No,
like,
it's magic. Like, you know, you're cooking. Like, you're imitating mom and grandma.
I took it very literally. As in, like they were making like kenni banchan in the, you know what I mean? Okay. Well,
Okay.
Yeah. But basically, mine was more like the challenges that you took on as a little kid. You know what I mean? And basically, the one thing that I challenged, when I was in like second or first grade, I wanted to walk home from school. Of course, I was like really young, so my dad said, no. But he would drop me off like one block away from my house.
Oh, at least your dad didn't let you do it.
Yeah, but he would like drive really slowly while I walked home next to it. I remember that
cute.
so vividly because he was like, "Yeah, you want to walk home? All right, get out." And I got out, and then at that point, because I'm a big scaredy cat, I thought he was just going to leave me, but he didn't. He just drove right next to me. But it was really, I still remember it like to this day. It's like I don't know. You guys have anything like that?
I don't have anything of like that personally, but I heard that one of the idols, 80s, Han's father, is
Okay.
really laid back, but also very strict as well. So Han, the member, said he wanted to do like online gaming. And when his dad was just like, no, you got to go to bed, he's like, oh, I can do this all night. And so his dad was like, okay, let's do this all night. So his dad sat with him in his room all night. And every time Han was trying to get sleepy and like trying to turn the game on, I was like, no. All night.
Oh my
Keep going.
goodness.
It's okay.
That's so funny.
And I was like, after hearing that, I was like, I'm gonna be that kind of parent. I don't want kids, but if I'm gonna have kids, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna be like, you want to play games all night? Go.
My grandpa did that to my dad because
Really?
my dad got caught, smoking. And my grandpa was like, "Oh, you want to smoke then, huh?" This is when he was like much younger, right? He was like, "Oh, you want to smoke then?" He made him smoke until he threw up, and then he never smoked again. And I was like, "All right, listen, that's a way to parent." Listen, it was the '60s. I don't know.
So he has been my role model now. His son's father has become my role model. I'm not gonna have kids, but I think that's definitely the best way to go.
Oh, yeah.
We are gonna be bringing more random topics like this. I really loved everybody's feedback today. Thank you guys so much for joining in.
Yes.
Joel, if you want to look over, maybe next time I'll just give you the pad.
Oh yeah, no. I enjoy looking at all this. Like I'm reading this. I'm like over here like in Isak's face trying to read stuff.
I'll just give him the pad next week. So as we sign off for today, Tae-Gu, who joined us in the studio a while back, has been hitting a whole new level of fame, and he's dropped a new track. So we're going to show support. Love Letter is a song, and we'll see you two next week.
Peace.
Bye.
이렇게 어여쁠 수 있을까 이렇게 소중할 수 있을까 널 만난 이후로 떨리는 내 마음 손잡고 나를 따라와 지켜줄게요 나의 당신을 가슴에 새겨놔 이 약속을 비와도 나는 그대 곁에 있을게요 이곳에 네가 그진 우무지개처럼 그대만 기다려 나는 매 순간이 꿈 같아 세상 그 누구보다 더 소중한 단 한 사람 그대라는 걸 I'll always love you Can you be my love With or without you I will always be
One exclusive.